Welcome back. This is Brigther Morning with Bhoe, and I'm Brigther Tewarie. You are watching on MCTV, Multicultural TV. Please stay with us, and you can call 609-6283, 609-6284. And let's talk now to the chairman of the Sangre Grande Corporation, Mr. Anil Juteram. Good morning, Anil. How are you?
Good morning, Doctor, and your viewers. Very good. Thank you.
It's good to see you. How are you making out as chairman of the corporation? You've been there, what, 2 years now?
Yes, this next month will be my 2 years in office as chairman of the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation.
Okay, and you were a councillor before?
Yes, I was elected councillor in 2016.
Okay, how has your stint been as a councillor, and how do you find it now as chair?
As a councillor, it was really trying because they want to serve burgesses in a manner in which when they ask of you certain things, sometimes you may not be able to deliver. So I have always maintained a not promising mentality. I never promise people things, and with that being said, the burgesses that I represent has learned to trust me because of whenever there are resources available, we would try to do things in areas where we don't even have control of. Not all the areas are vested within the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation. There are some roads, for example, and some places they call it orphan roads, where the Ministry of Works, local government, they have no jurisdiction. But on a humanitarian basis, where these people live for over 40, 50 years, we can't sit by and leave them by the wayside. So it's been a challenging job, and I love challenge.
All right, and as chairman now, how have you settled in that job, and how do you see the job now, the challenges and the opportunities?
In this global stage that we live in, I'm not one to sit down and complain and make excuses. We have to be proactive in whatever office or offices that we hold, and we have to cut and trust and pace to make things happen. We have to be innovative. We have to be thinking out of the box. We are not an island. I am certainly not an island to myself. I interact with council members. I interact with, on both sides, members of the PNM, UNC, to see how best the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation can act as a cohesive unit in terms of the deliverables that we may have, and in terms of doing things outside of the remit of the corporation, but within the constraints of the law.
Yeah, it's the UNC won a narrow victory there, allowing you to be chairman. First of all, how is cohesion among your UNC councillors there? And secondly, how is the cohesion and collaboration across party lines in your corporation?
I'll be very honest to you, Dr. Tewarie. The cohesiveness that I anticipated, somehow it never really materialized to the extent that you would. Sometimes at times I feel like I'm in opposition within my own fraternity, because there's a lot of external interference. And if one have to run a corporation, it is the councillors that were duly elected by the people of the region, regardless of the political symbol they may have been elected by. But when you are being dictated to and directed to do things that would more or less destabilize the cohesiveness of what you are trying to do, and anticipate that unification of the region so that we can have one fixed common agenda where every creed and race will find an equal place in what we have to do. But if there are people from outside of the council trying to influence certain council members from within where I sit, then you'll find there will always be a really, really destabilization of any unit to move forward. in getting things done. It's always a lot of internal fighting to have one common consensus. And at times, I have to be honest with you, in order to get simple things done, like approve unspent balances and so on, I may have to sit as the chairman and use my second casting vote to get things done for all the burgesses. It's things like buying material to patch roads and things. These simple things is opposition right through from people
And
in your
you're saying some of the opposition is from your own councillors because of, I am simply speculating now, either party interference or some kind of interference. Can you confirm that or say anything about
yeah, sure. The honorable political leader, honorable successor, entrusted me and placed me as the chairman of the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation. I took an oath of office, and an oath of office is a serious thing. When you take an oath of office, you have to be very, very articulate, you have to be fair, and you may always be under the scrutiny of the public. And I'm not referring to her, but there are people within the constraints of leadership positions in the party who they don't have a clue what local government is about. They may be campaign managers, they may be purporting themselves to be shadow ministers of this and that. And the culture of Sangre Grande is not the culture of Train City and Couva and the Deep South. Sangre Grande is a multicultural place. We are our brother's keeper. In fact, first and foremost, before entering the perils of politics, I am a fourth generation businessman in Sangre Grande. And I have known how to interact with all types of people, all level of people, all class of people, all race of people. And I brought that ingredient into the politics. And there's no way that in order for us to go forward as a country, which is so badly polarized at this point in time, that what we do may appear to be even further adding fuel to that level of polarization. So I try to really, really do what we can to unify our region and by extent to come across as a unifying factor in the politics of Trinidad and Tobago. And there's no way that I am going to do anything other than that. It's not about we and them, it's about us as a country and a region.
Yeah, well, I know Sangre Grande well, having had a little history there. And I know that it's a place in which integration is real, mutual respect is real, and people work together. I mean, you have not just Indians and Africans, but you have a lot of mixed people of...
Certainly. Chinese, we have
you
Portuguese.
have a lot of mixed people there. It is
yes.
a geographical pool of mixing in the country, and people are easy with each other. So anybody who wants to lead or get things done in the community has to have an easy way with all kinds of people. And
sure.
the politics of other places will not go down very well there. But what could be the motivation of those people who interfere? What do they want? Why don't they leave you alone and leave the corporation to run its business and simply issue party guidelines as to how all corporations should be run if they are controlled by the party?
You see, what is happening? What is happening? The party in which I was blessed to become the chairman through my party, the United National Congress, and the honorable political leader, Kamala Kusabi, there are certain, when you look at 2010 to 2015 and 2015 to 2020, when you look at the inroads that our party made in terms of winning just the Moruga Tableland seats by a couple hundred votes, it states clearly that the population, they are not seeing what they are looking at as an alternative government. Right? I'm not here to bash my party, but I'm here to speak on the matter. We cannot pretend that everything is well and we would become the next government because people are disenchanted with the current government. The population has way past that stage of political thinking. There are a crop of young people, very educated, and they see things from behind the scenes. They watch and who is presenting themselves as an alternative. And this, when you hear these people talk, when you hear people within the constraint, the diehard people of the party itself, when you hear they are totally out of the charge, the energy to charge to make any contribution, something is fundamentally wrong. And the party cannot be guided by a campaign manager who is clueless about the entirety of a region, what the country is thirsty for, what they want. And a party cannot be run by the dictates of someone who believes that he or she is above anything else, any scrutiny, accountability, and they just have to order and the activists or whoever just trump and follow. So it does not work like that anymore in Trinidad and Tobago, and the election results have shown that.
But don't people realize that that was a PNM corporation, and this has only been recently won by the UNC, which is that you have made some gains there, and that the job really is to serve the people well and to make further gains in the corporation? I mean, don't they see the simple wisdom of that?
Unfortunately, they don't see that sort of I'm not speaking about the political leader, but there are those who she would have entrusted and those who would have taken positions of certain senior portfolios. And I come across as the wrong one in the situation and in this current climate, because what I stand for, I would stand, there is life after politics, and I can't pretend to do what is not correct during my tenure, right? And have to walk and face the population in the residents in my region, from Matlock to Valencia to Trimana. I cannot afford to do that.
You have to live with the people. Now, what about the relationship? What about the relationship with the across party lines? What is happening there?
As I said, the office of being the chairman of the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation is an office that I respect, and I can say with utmost 100% clarity that I have never shown any form of discrimination or neglect across party lines. I always listen. I try to treat people fair. In order to get support, you must have people buying into what you are trying to do. Your vision, you're here to listen to them, to actually make them feel that they are part of the system. You cannot say that, yeah, we're in charge of the corporation. It's either you follow us or you're left behind. No, it's a region that we have here, and we try to move the region forward, right? That is what we do. And at the end of the day, when the election bell has rung for election, it's a different thing. It's a different thing when campaign starts. But in the interim, in order for smooth sailing and no turbulence, we have to be unified in order for our projections and for our commitment to the people that placed us here. Local government is, as you walk out your house, you see drains, you see roads, you see pavement, garbage to be cleaned up and so on. This is local government, and we cannot have a top-down approach looking down at people. You have to be able to adapt yourself to the common person on the street, the poorest person, listen to them, hear what you can do to anticipate some form of happiness to them. And that is what people place you here for. That is what taxpayers put you there for. Not to sit down in an office and say, we're in charge and we're going to do this to benefit our people. I'm not saying that is the instruction that my leader gave me. That is nothing. She said, serve the people. But there are people that doesn't have a clue about how a corporation have to be run in order for it to be successful and at the end of the day give results to the burgesses. And to be honest, my biggest challenge is to work with people in order so that we can have one common consensus. It's always a influential thing where people on the outside influencing people from within, and because of that, nothing can be placed in one common concrete way to get things solid and moving forward.
What are some of the
Very much
biggest
fragmented.
What are some of the biggest problems you face in the Sangre Grande region? I mean, I know you must have problems of roads and drains. That is a
Sure.
problem all over the country. I know that you have, within recent times, problems of flooding. Sangre Grande never used to be a place with a lot of flooding, but you're getting some of that now.
Yes.
And I know that you also have a challenge with agriculture. Sangre Grande is a highly productive place in terms of agriculture. For instance, besides the other things that are produced there, Sangre Grande is one of the few places in Trinidad and Tobago that you could get kush around Christmas time, for instance. And what is happening with these these four things: roads, drains, flooding, and agriculture in Sangre Grande? What are the challenges, and what have you done about it? What do we need to do about it as a community?
Yes. Oh, that's a very nice question. Sangre Grande and the region of Sangre Grande is blessed. We have aggregates, as you know, from national quarries. We are blessed with the scenery, the coastal areas from Matlat, Manzalina, Mayaro. We have all the rivers. We have ecotourism. We have land for agriculture. But unfortunately, the agricultural access roads have not been, upgraded. And hence the result, a lot of people have problems where people have to come out with their vehicles to sell their produce, and people who may be from outside of Sangre Grande to go into those farms. So we have some issues in terms of upgrading agricultural access roads. We have the Prida Lassini also. There are some issues. We have some, as you alluded to, the issues about flooding. We have a lot of unscrupulous land developers in Sangre Grande. We have a lot of illegal quarrying taking place where people are blocking watercourses to wash their gravel and so on. And I think these things need to be regulated by those in authority. There is so much that the corporation can do with limited resources, manpower, infrastructure, and you name it, and resources, financial resources. And with the expansion of squatting, Mr. Tewarie, Sangre Grande is the capital of squatting in Trinidad and Tobago. We have about 40 what you call unplanned developments. And the Commissioner of State Land seems to be very much toothless in terms of implementing laws and constraints. If you look at the entire Valencia stretch when you're coming into Sangre Grande from Valencia, people are cutting down those trees that, the signs that say no squatting, forest reserve, protected area. They are building shacks in front of those areas. They are given lights, water, and everything by those in authority. And it's like it's a free-for-all taking place. And then the corporation in return is being asked to furnish these people with roads, with infrastructure, with drainage, with water, potable water. So it's really a strain that the corporation has been undergoing with all these challenges, and not bashing any situation, the economic situation, but remember, we are operating on less budget than we would have been accustomed to 10 years ago. We are constantly being cut from our funding and so on. And as a result of that, we are having challenges to even maintain what we have within the constraints and or what you call vested assets in the corporation, like our roads, our infrastructure, recreation ground, cemetery, to even maintain those things. And when all these other things come into to play within our region, we are called upon to do, humanitarian service. So it's a lot of challenges that we are faced with. But be that as it may, we anticipate working also with the private sector. So we do joint ventures we have something called the LED unit, local economic development, where we would try to you know, pull together small, micro, medium entrepreneurs and have them display their product or products. And we are trying to come away from this interpretation that the corporation is about drain and box and pavement and so on. But we're trying to do things to uplift the if you look at our website, Sangre Grande Local Economic Development website, you would see there's a lot of activities taking place there with small and micro and medium-sized businesses and so on. So we are trying our best to do what we can to empower people and keep them away from the dependency syndrome, the 10-day syndrome, to come to work 7:30 in the morning and leave by 8, 8:30. You know, that is not productive. That is not productive in these hard, challenging times. And therefore, our resources are channeled where we can get production for the taxpayers of the country.
Okay, we've got to take a break now so that our sponsors can present their case. But when I come back, I want to put two questions. Let me put two questions in your head now. You can reflect on it. And when I come back, we'll talk about it, right? And the two questions are these. I mean, when you look at the resources of Sangre Grande that you talked about, it's an agricultural producing area. You have a whole range of small and medium enterprises, mostly small enterprises, family businesses, etc. there. You have aggregate quite significant for supply all over the country. You have the Manzanilla coast and you have the Mayaro coast running into one another. And all of that takes you to the other town on the northeastern side of the island, which is Rio Claro. So if you had two growth poles there, one in Rio Claro and one in Sangre Grande, given those resources that you have and given that you have capacity there, I mean, that area could become a very, very thriving business and commerce and agricultural and tourism metropolis. Not to mention that you have a lot of forests, you have a lot of greenery and so on in that area. And as you mentioned, you have rivers and all kinds of things. So that is one thing I want to raise with you. We could talk about it when you come back, when we come back. And
Sure.
the other thing that I want to mention is, given the potential of that region, what are some of the, do you have the support in local government there of the Minister of Works, who is a resident of Sangre Grande and who knows the area well, the support of the Ministry of Rural Development, because there are lots of rural communities in Sangre Grande, and do you basically have the support of the community? You mentioned the private sector, to be able to do the things that you want to do and have to do. So when we come back, we'll talk about that. Okay, we break now for commercial messages.
Welcome to Lifetime Solutions, where you can trust your roof to us. Our services include custom fabrication, steel framing, roofing installation, on-site roll forming, roofing maintenance and services. Call 223-ROOF or 223-7663 for a quote today, or visit our website www.lifetimesolutionstt.com. Lifetime Solutions. You can trust your roof to us. Call 223-ROOF or 223-7663 for a quote today, or visit our website www.lifetimesolutionstt.com.
As businesses adapt to the new normal, let Magic Mist take care of your cleaning and sanitization needs with our COVID-19 BSCAI internationally certified technicians. With over 43 years of protecting the health of our nation, you can trust us to ensure your building remains safe, healthy, and functional. Give us a call today at 638-6675 or 332-5522. Magic Mist Services Limited, your total facilities management solutions provider.
Welcome back. This is Brigther Morning with Bhoe. You are watching on MCTV, Multicultural TV in Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean region. And I am your host, Bhoe Tewarie. We are talking to Mr. Anil Juteram, the chairman of the Sangre Grande Corporation. And Anil, I asked you two questions before we broke. The first one is the growth potential of Sangre Grande, and the second one is the integrated development approach that I mentioned with the various ministries, etc.,
Sure.
to get some things done. Can you comment on that a little bit?
Sure.
We've lost sound. Check your internet. Check your phone or your microphone or your connection or whatever. Are you on? No, we've lost the sound. Check the sound. We've lost the sound in your end. I'll break for 30 seconds and you sort it out. Okay?
Welcome to Lifetime Solutions, where you can trust your roof to us. Our services include custom fabrication, steel framing, roofing installation, on-site roll forming, roofing maintenance and services. Call 223-ROOF or 223-7663 for a quote today or visit our website www.lifetimesolutionst.com. Lifetime Solutions. You can trust your roof to us. Call 223-ROOF or 223-7663 for a quote today or visit our website www.lifetimesolutionstt.com.
Welcome back. We're talking to Anil Juteram, the chairman of Sangre Grande Corporation. Did we get your sound back?
Yes, you hear me?
Yes, we're hearing you now. Let's lift the volume so people can hear as well.
Sure.
All right. I asked you two questions. You want to address those?
Yeah, sure. As you rightfully said, we are poised in Sangre Grande and blessed with all the natural resources. We just have to tap into these resources. And once we get the relevant ministries to help articulate and format these hidden prizes, for example, we have a lot of tourist attraction. Once the Ministry of Tourism decides to spend some money to enhance what you call the Tamana Bat Caves and so on, that's the only cave in I believe the Caribbean where the white bats can be found, and that's a tourist attraction. We have the scenery from Matlat to Mayaro, Manzalina. We have the turtle nesting areas along the coastal areas. And agriculture is so, a lot of people, especially with the COVID situation, has gone back to agriculture. And that people are seeing where they can make a living, because sometimes things like limes, peppers, pimentos cost as much as $1 in the market. So there are potential for things like that to happen. But without the incentives and the the incentive for people to go into those industries, people would not have the zeal. If we can create something of like what you have in Makoya as a market, right, where people in Toko and Matlot and Tamana have to go down, sell their produce in Tong and Makoya, and people in Sangre Grande have to go all the way down there to buy it there and come back up and sell something in Sangre Grande market. So if we can create that environment within Sangre Grande, right, with consultation from all the ministries, we would be able to be in a better position. As you said, Rio Claro is part of our region to an extent, and they are blessed with land and agricultural based commodities can be attracted there. Mayaro, Manzanilla, there's quite a lot of potential for hotels and so on. I remember under the last administration, 2010, 2015, there were rumored talks where a 500 bed, 500 room hotel would be constructed in Mayaro. I'm just saying that. So we are blessed, but the drive, the consensus, and the unification of all hands on deck have to take place. But when you have people not coming together for the benefit of a region, but maybe for political sustenance, you find the region will be a casualty of that. And that is what has happened to this region. People have been placed there and really is not really what the people could have benefited. But in terms of sustenance, political sustenance, a lot of things take place at the detriment of the expansion of the region. And that is quite a challenge, and we have to overcome that hurdle if we are to go forward. Secondly, you asked about the Ministry of Works and what's the relationship with the Ministry of Works. Quite frankly and honestly, I think the Ministry of Works, seeing that the Honorable Minister, Mr. Rohan Sindanal, is a born and bred soil of Sangre Grande, a born and bred son of Sangre Grande, I am a bit disappointed at his level of communication with members of council and certainly myself as chairman. I know we are both differently on two political vehicles, but in the interests of the region, yet still to have dialogue with him. 4 years and over, we as a councillor waiting still to know what I can recommend to him so that he can help alleviate some of the flooding issues. One of the things in his ministry is that the approval being given to land developers from the Ministry of Works Drainage Department in Port of Spain. They are constantly giving approvals at the detriment of causing a lot of flooding in our areas. We have watercourses that have been diverted, blocked, tampered with. We have rivers which have been turned into box drains. And these people are getting approvals from the Ministry of Works. And the minister will have a press conference to have the public servants deny that. But this is something that is not a political tit for tat. This is a reality. As you rightfully said, Sangre Grande region never flooded like that before. We have areas 40 years, there's first time in 40 years they are seeing this type of flooding. In August of this year, we had a particular area in North Oropouche flood 3 times in hot sun, right? So when you speak out on these matters, the Honorable Minister think that you're politicking, but you're not politicking. When people have given you that authority to represent them, you have to represent them with every ounce of blood and breath in your life. At times, you might get a death threat because people feel you're stepping on their toes, but you have to do what the people entrusted you to do. There's no compromise with serving. You have to serve honorable, very transparent, and be able to face whatever are the repercussions in doing hard work and sweat. This type of job, being a chairman of a corporation, does not operate behind air-conditioned doors in an office or in the backseat of a Prado with a tinted glass. You have to be on the ground. You have to feel what these people are feeling, and how much times you will ask these people how much hampers they want, how much mattresses they want. The people are tired and they want solutions, and I think the minister should really step up to the plate and try to see what he can do, not only to enhance the lives and make the lives better quality.
I hope that you can get some collaboration among the Ministry of Works, Ministry of Rural Development, and the Ministry of Rural Development to get things done. Let me just say something. We're going now. I want to know how much has been your cut in allocation for 2020 21, 22, and what was it like in 2020 and 2021, and how much of that is development funding, and whether or not, that is acceptable to you. Go ahead.
Yes, we have seen a trend.
Answer this quick.
Yeah, we have seen a trend where for the past 3 budgets, we have been cut like roughly 10 million, 10 million, 10 million. And in serious areas where that infrastructural work could have been enhanced to create agricultural access roads and better road and drainage, that has been cut a lot. We mostly get releases for things like scavenging and to keep the corporation running in terms of staff and so on. But in terms of development programs and so on, we have been badly affected with that.
Yes, I want to say I'm impressed with your perspective. I mean, you have not been afraid to criticize your own party, and you have not been afraid to criticize the government and the government ministers. And you speak for the people and you speak for the corporation as chairman. And I want to commend you on that. You may get some backlash on both sides. That is the nature of low politics in this country. But I want to say that out of your discussion has come out the fact that, yes, you need politics in order to get to the point where you can govern. But once you get to governance, there is a distinction to be made between narrow partisan politics and governance. And thirdly, that your business, when you are in government, whether local government or national government, is to look after the interests of the people that you serve and to serve them well. I want to thank you for your contribution this morning, and maybe on another occasion we will talk again. Okay?
Thank you very much, Mr. Tewarie. It was my pleasure. And keep up the good work. God bless. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. This is Brigther Morning with Bhoe. I am Bhoe Tewarie, your host on Brigther Morning with Bhoe, and this is MCTV, Multicultural TV. We go to Andrew Chan and the 7 o'clock news.